Hi, it's John from Android Addicts with a quick unboxing and comparison of the IPEGA PG 9083. Now you've already seen my unboxing for the Glap Play here, and it's a great controller, feels good in the hands, tiny bit bulky, but does everything we need it to do. But it does come at a cost. This is currently going for £79.99 in the UK, whereas the IPEGA here is going for around £25. So what I'm going to do is quickly unbox the IPEGA and compare it to the Glap, and we'll just see a quick side-by-side comparison so you can make your informed decision as to which one you purchase. Okay, so here we are. This is the £25 IPEGA PG 9083. Reasonable packaging. It looks quite nice. Not as sort of posh as the Glap Play package here. But who cares, because it's going to go in the bin anyway, isn't it? So let's just crack this open and have a look. Always be careful when using knives. Now I actually bought this at the same time as the Glap, but I haven't actually had a chance to do anything with it until now, so it's just been sat here patiently waiting. Now the other thing which this has over the Glap is the apparent support for up to 11-inch screen sizes, so you may be able to get a tablet inside, whereas the Glap is limited to around 5 inches or so. 5 or 6 inches, that is. So let's have a look inside. Okay, so presentation wise, obviously it's a bit cheaper, well it's a lot cheaper than the Glap, so therefore we have this sort of plasticky container for the controller itself. Has a good weight to it actually, it feels quite sturdy. What else have we got in here? Okay, we've got some instructions here. Nothing too exciting there. We do have a 380 milliamp hour battery, which is slightly more than the Glap with its 300 milliamp hour, so it should last a bit longer in theory. So let's pop that to the side, and we have our USB cable here for charging. This is a standard micro USB which charges, let's have a look. There we are, in the bottom, bottom corner on the left hand side. Okay, so initial thoughts, it feels sturdy, it feels good quality actually. The D-pad feels a bit spongy. Not particularly nice. Certainly on the down. It may well just be something with use, but you can hear it's not great. Analog sticks feel fine. Nice and clicky. The A, B, X and Y buttons feel good. Start button's a bit recessed in there, and the select again on that side. These feel nice, and you feel, feel like it sort of wraps around your hand quite well. This is the back of the device. So we've got a release and a lock here. What's that for? Okay. Oops. Okay, that I don't know what just went across there. It was that piece there, but my finger was in there, and that did actually hurt somewhat. So do be careful when you're using these controllers, as they are lethal. So let's just try that again, but without my fingers in place. So to lock it in place, there we are. Okay, so that's, sorry for knocking the camera, that's now locked in place. If we release it, not sure what that is, that's just come out there. Piece of cardboard. Okay, so if we release this, quite a loud sort spring here and plastic mechanism. But you can see how it works. So you get it to the right size. Let's just pop the S10 in here. Get it to the right size, close it up, and lock it in place. So it's a bit more involved than the Glap mechanism. There's a few more things you have to do to lock it in place, but once it's in, you can see I've got my hand there just in case. It feels fine. It's not going to come out easily, let's say. So let's release that again. Get the phone out. Okay, so I've got my good old LG 8-inch tablet here. So just for fun, I'm going to try getting this inside the IPEGA here, just to see how far we can actually go. And yeah, believe it or not, that does fit inside. Lock that in place. Oh, let's try and make sure it's secure. Okay, that doesn't feel, and as you can see, that certainly isn't secure in there. But if you're holding it like this and you're playing a game, then you could go around with an 8-inch tablet and play whatever games it is you want to play. But that is sliding out. I'm not sure why it's not gripping the sides. It could be the design of the actual tablet. But there's certainly no grip there at all, whereas the phone definitely feels like it's in place and secure. It could be because we're reaching the limits of how wide this can open, and therefore there's not much purchase when we try and close it back up together. But either way, you know, you can quite safely get a massive tablet inside this thing. So with a quick side-by-side of both controllers, you can have a quick look to see the dimensions, the button layouts. I think I actually prefer the button layouts on the IPEGA here. It does look like it's a bit closer together and a bit more intuitive. But that D-pad could be a problem, especially if you're playing lots of retro games. It doesn't feel... This feels quite nice. This one feels like there's a bit of a sponge underneath it. So do bear that in mind. It could just be that this is a slightly dodgy version, but we will find out soon enough. Okay, on the side here we've got our little switch to switch between Android, I'm guessing that's iOS, with the little eye there, and just a standard controller, which should work on Windows 10 computers. And other than that, oh, we do have a button here, a reset button. I'm guessing that's if the controller locks up. Let's hope that's not something that happens very frequently. And we have a couple of LEDs here, which should determine something. Let's find out. Okay, I've had to get the instruction out here just to see what these LEDs actually mean. So it looks like LED number 1 is for Android devices. So when you're paired with your Android phone, LED number 1 should be lit. The LED number 2, which is just above that one, is for iOS devices. And I'm guessing, let's have a look, Android standard mode is LED number 3. And LED number 4 is the actual charge indicator. So the difference between LED 1 and 3, LED 1 for Android is the direct play mode, and LED 3 is the standard mode. So that would be how the phone actually sees the controller, but we're going to go through that and find out in a bit. Okay, so let's try and pair this with our phone. We'll pop it inside first. It's only a bit more difficult to actually, a bit more cumbersome to get it in compared to Glap, but I'm slightly scared of it falling out while I'm messing around here. Right, so we're going to turn our Bluetooth on. We're in the Android mode. I'm guessing the home button is the power button. Yes, it is. Okay, so we've got LED 1 flashing here, so let's just see if we scan. We've got the PUBG 9083s, so let's pair with that, and we're done. Okay, so once you're paired up with your phone, you want to download this weirdly named Shooting Plus V3 app, which is basically what you can use to map the buttons, as you've seen with things like the Panda Gamepad app. So we're just going to open this up and see what we get. So this is what you're greeted with when you first run the app. These are just a list of, I'm presuming, presets of games which you may or may not want to use, but we're going to just try and set up one for ourselves. First up, we're just going to test all the buttons and the bits and pieces work. So let's just pop that back down. We should see in the app here, it's very smooth, all looks good. I can get a full circle there. That's our D-pad working in all directions. Got our buttons, triggers, start, select. Okay, now you'll see here the triggers on the IPEGA are not actually analog, they're just on or off. Whereas with the IPEGA Glap, with the Glap Play, you have analog functionality. So bear that in mind. Right, I think we're all okay here. The buttons are all working fine. So let's just load up a game and see how we can actually set up the controls and see how it works. Okay, after some messing around, I finally worked out exactly how this works. It's not that intuitive, to be honest, and the instructions don't really explain it. But basically, once you've started your game up with the app detecting that the controller is connected, you basically can obviously load the preset, as we've already done, by pressing home and up. But these two buttons either side actually do things as well. So the start button doesn't start the game, it actually brings up the layout for you to edit. Now if you press start again, that disappears. If you move something around and press start, it doesn't actually save that at all. It goes back to how it was before. So if you're going to move anything, move it and then click the save button and just save that, and it will actually save that preset. Now the select button, on the other hand, all that does is actually bring up the overlay so you can see what buttons are doing what. So when you're in the game, if you forget what one of the keys is doing, you can press select and they will all appear. So let's just jump into a game and see how we get on. So here we go, if I press select, that hides the overlay. I'm going to leave it on for the time being because I haven't actually worked out exactly all of the controls yet. The analog sticks were really nice actually. That's one real positive about this controller. They feel nice and smooth, nice and accurate. You can really sort of pinpoint where you want to look. So there we have it, a game of PUBG, and actually managed to win, which is nice. And yeah, the controls are actually quite good. The only thing I would say about this is, obviously I'm playing from a distance here because I'm sat behind a camera, but it's really hard to actually see what these little labels are on these on the overlay buttons here. So I couldn't actually see what this says. If I look at it really close now, it says RB and X, which I just could not see from all the way over here. So that's why I was pressing the screen a few times on some of the actions. But yeah, it feels really nice. It fits well in the hand. You feel naturally okay in this position. The only thing I would mention is that the moving from here over to here is a bit of a stretch. The triggers themselves are okay. Again, there's obviously no analog buttons inside the triggers. But yeah, the D-pad's really nice. Quite like those. And I think compared to the Glap, which feel a bit, I don't know, these just feel nicer, I'd say, on the IPEGA. However, I must admit, holding this again, I'd say it feels, well, I don't know, it's hard to say really. The positions feel better. I think having the buttons down here at the side is actually better and easier to get to than on the IPEGA, where you have to sort of move quite a big distance to actually get to the buttons, whereas here you're only moving a shorter, well, you are moving a shorter distance. If we put them side by side, it is very slightly further away, not a huge amount, but it is noticeable. I think probably because you have to move your thumb down rather than just to the side, whereas that's a sort of more natural movement. Moving down to get to things isn't quite as natural. But to be honest, for the price, £24, £25, around that sort of area, I'm quite impressed. I'd say that the configuration and setup of this compared to the Glap isn't as nice, it's not as intuitive. It's obviously a sort of Chinese app that you've got to use to set things up, and the lack of instructions doesn't help things whatsoever. But once you are set up, I must say it's a really good controller, quite impressed. Okay, so we're just going to quickly try out another game here. Now, if your game actually supports a controller with the XInput mode, what you're going to want to do is not actually use the overlay on screen controls, but you're going to want to switch to the Gamepad mode on the controller. So turn the controller off first, press and hold the home key. Okay, now switch over to the Gamepad here and turn the controller back on. You'll see LED number 3 turns on. Now hopefully our phone will connect via Bluetooth. Okay, so now we can see straight away that we have controls that are working in the game. So we should be able to carry on and play as normal. So this is good for, like I say, any games that support controllers out of the box, and emulators, other things like that. So let's give this D-pad a try. You definitely wouldn't want to play a sort of Street Fighter fighting game with it. I don't think it is not as good as the Glap, that's for sure. But it's still working fine. So there we have it. That is the IPEGA PG 9083. Let me know what you think in comparison to the Glap. Obviously, the main difference is the price. I'd say the Glap is a lot easier to set up and get working, pretty much straight away. But the IPEGA does have the advantage that it comes with an app which has the overlay function for you to play games, whereas with the Glap controller we have to use Panda Gamepad to get games such as PUBG and other ones to work, such as Call of Duty. So yes, let me know what you think. I haven't made up my mind yet which I prefer. I'm going to probably go with the Glap for the time being, as I'm used to that at the moment, and the D-pad on this is pretty shocking really. It's almost sharp. I'm not quite sure what they were thinking with this, but maybe not many people use the D-pad. But either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel. It's much appreciated, and I will see you again next time.